Good evening and welcome to the show. It's Matty and Skelly with you tonight on Red Army Radio. We're going to be discussing Woodgate down in Braithwaite. Should he stay? Should he go? Also, we're going to be talking about the lads, youth lads down in out in Austria. As always, if you'd like to get involved, you can comment on the stream here on YouTube, or you can give us a call. That number is 01642 688 987. Free number 688 987. Right, Skel, welcome, first show.
You alright?
How are you doing?
I'm okay, mate. A bit hungover, to be honest. I was out when I watched a bit of non-league football last night, Thornaby, which we're going to be covering on the show as well, down the when we go live in July. So we're going to be obviously covering a lot of the Northern League stuff. So I went down, watched Thornaby, played over at the Dormans, played the Bees, 7-2 it finished.
2-0 down, I heard, eh?
2-0 down, yeah. Two calamity errors from the goalkeeper for Thornaby. Bees went 2-0 up, yeah, and anyway they come back and showed the Northern League Division 1 now, so they showed the class and ran out 7-2 winners. Ended up getting a skinful. Watched the England women, and I'm still a bit hungover, to be honest.
England women, yeah. We'll talk about that one later on, maybe. But yes, Skel, so Woodgate, good appointment in your opinion?
It's a good appointment in terms of financially stable. I think he obviously knows the club. He's trying to build a philosophy. And I think that's the right way to go forward in terms of what the club needs. Now, we can't just keep bringing managers in with different philosophies. You know, you've got Pulis is gone. We're going to have to change the squad around again. We're going to try to play attacking football. I think Woodgate's got the drive to do it. However, I don't think he's got the players, if I'm being honest. Yeah,
I agree. We'll come on and get the players later on. I say, for me, I've come out and said, openly, Woodgate wasn't my first option really as a manager. I didn't want him. I wanted a known manager. I was crying out for Jokanovic from Fulham. We didn't get him. But Woodgate's first interview, I have to admit, it got me on side a bit. But having said that, he had to come out and say it for me, that he wanted to play this attacking style of football, this pressing football, because what we've watched under Pulis in the last 18 months, the absolute dross. The fans ain't going to come back. So, with his interview, he said he's going to come out and play this press, this attacking style of play. Do you have any reservations over it? Can he pull it off with the squad we've got?
Yeah, I've got a lot, to be honest, lots of reservations. Number one, I think we've got probably the slowest back four in the league. So if we're going to play a high pressing game, you've got someone like Aidan Flint playing centre half, and I was watching the videos the other day, they were doing a sprint training, and somehow Aidan Flint was quicker than George Friend, which is also quite worrying.
Yes.
So if you're going to play a high pressing game and leave space in behind, I think we're going to really struggle next season. I think teams will pick us apart. Yeah,
it is going to be difficult with the players we've got. It will need an overhaul. I agree. I look at the squad, I can probably pick 2 players I think who can play a pressing game. After that, I'm struggling. You look at the likes of Aidan Flint, like you've said. If we're going to play a pressing game, which means we're going to be high up the pitch, there's going to be a lot of space in behind the defence. Last season, or the 18 months under Pulis, the defence was always deep. We were deep in defence, so with that space in behind, we haven't really got pace. It could punish us, so it will be interesting to see how he plays it. Just looking at it as well, he wants these young lads to come through. Obviously, he's took 15 young lads out to Austria with him, Skel. I've just got the names here. Rumen Burrell, Hayden Coulson, Hayden Hackney, Zach Hemming, Brad James, Ben Little, Connor Malley, Ainsley Pears, obviously the son of Stephen Pears, Patrick Redding. He's also brought out Jed Spence, Sam Stubbs, son of Alan Stubbs, Stephen Wern and Nathan Wood. So, looking at them, I was just looking through them today. Only 3 of them players have actually gone out on loan. 3 of 15. They're the lads out in Austria. I'm not saying they're the lads who's going to go and play, but 3 lads out on loan out of the 15 players. If we're going to bled youth, Woodgate's come out and said, I trust these players, he knows them. We've got no doubt that Woodgate knows the players. My question is, can them players now, obviously looking at what I've just said, 3 of them only playing out on loan. So we've had Hayden Coulson, he spent last season out on loan at Cambridge. He only made 14 appearances. Ben Little played 5 appearances for Forest Green, and 3 of them was a sub. Ainsley Pears, we know he's played at Gateshead. He actually flourished by the looks of it.
Did he get player of the year?
He did. He got player of the year and player of the season. So obviously he's a keeper though. So when we're going to need a keeper, Dimmy's gone. So and it will be 4 actually, because I say Sam Stubbs was out with Notts County and they got relegated.
I don't know what anyone else's thoughts are. Anyone's listening about these youngsters. I've seen one or two of them playing, but to be honest, I've never. When he was speaking about the youngsters coming through, there weren't the names on the end of my tongue. Obviously, got Nathan Wood, Ainsley Pears. I've seen him in training. He looks. It's only training and stuff, but he looks good. He looks good.
You'd expect him to be good, the son of Stephen Pears, wouldn't we?
Well, yeah.
He was a class act.
Well, Stephen Pears was class, and he only had 4 fingers on one hand. So his son's got 5 fingers. But no, like I say, I don't know what the youth players much about them. To be honest, I was thinking of your Stephen Walkers. Yeah. Obviously, he's pulled his hammy.
He's injured, isn't he?
I'll find out how long he's going to be out for with that, because I'll speak to Steve and I'll message his mum. So he was gutted about not going out of Austria, because obviously he's a big hope this season.
Yeah, he's looking good, wasn't
he? Yeah, he is, and you've got Nathan Wood. But apart from that, I don't know. It's very, very worrying if you ask me.
It is. I'd say, yeah, you're right. I agree. We have got a lot of youth players, and we've got a good academy, a good youth system. No one can deny the players that we do bring through the youth ranks. But reading off their names, I mean, they're the ones he's took to Austria, so we can only assume they're the ones he's going to look at. I'm not going to say he's going to throw him in straight away. The Championship's a vigorous league, and my reservations are, like we said, these guys, only 3 or 4 of them have played out on loan. Some of them have got no league experience, only playing under 23s, Checker Trade Trophy. A few of them have come off the bench in cup games for Boro, but it's only a cameo, 10, 15 minutes.
Speaking about the youth there, we're going to have to rely on the youth. But just I was looking through the first team squad, and we are very, very bare. Yeah. The squad it's down to its bare bones. So I've seen something today that Woodgate at the moment is just going to concentrate on what he's got. Now, sorry to put a damper on things, because people have been quite optimistic after watching the training videos and so on. And usually I get called out and say, you'll never slag the Boro off, or you're always positive. But I think I'm a bit of a realist. So I know people are getting excited by the videos and the Woodgate's speech and all that, but for me, let's not pull the wool over our eyes here. I think at the moment, next season, the way we are, I think it's going to be a struggle, because you can't just come in and teach these players how to play football. Like Aidan Flint can't pass a ball. Well,
I won't accept a struggle next season, I'll be honest with you. Is that looking at that team?
When I speak about a struggle, I mean top 6 for me is going to be a struggle.
If we're not challenging for the playoffs with the team we've got now, bear in mind that team finished 7th last season. No one apart from Stewie will come on with later.
Just to stop you there, actually, I just want to bring something up here. Where did we finish last season?
7th.
Don't you owe me 50 quid, mate?
I put it on Simon Grayson as manager. I'm sure you messaged me and said put it on Simon Grayson as manager.
No, never. I never, man. I put.
So go on then. Put your nose at where we're going to finish this season. Then we'll have the bet live on here. Everyone can hear this season. This squad as it stands. Where we're going.
We can't have that as a bet right now, can we? Because when the season starts off, it could be different. I'll tell you what we'll do before the first ball's kicked. We'll make a prediction. We'll put some money on it. We'll put some money to charity. That's what we'll do.
Alright, we'll have a look. Let's say there's a poll on the video there in the top right. If you want to click on this, let's ask the question. Let's put it out there, Skel, with them as well. Are you happy with Woody and Co? Give us your comments on the stream there. Just there's a poll, just click yes or no. We'll see what it's like at the end of the show. Now, Skel, obviously Woodgate's, he's brought in his own backroom staff. He's brought in Robbie Keane, Danny Coyne and Leo Perkovic. But on Leo, for me, it was a clever move from the club, whether it be Gibson or Woodgate, to bring Leo back, because for me, Leo Perkovic epitomises everything that I'd want to see in a manager or a coach. That passion he shows, the connection with the fans. Yeah. It's he has that connection with them. There's no doubt about it. Are you happy to see him back at the club, Leo?
Unbelievable, yeah. He's like a Boro lad, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? The way he goes and the passion he shows for the club. I remember Harry Redknapp was saying, I think he was putting a Boro flag up on the back of on the net. Yeah. And Harry Redknapp was saying, what a guy, what a character. He said, I wouldn't like to meet him in the dark alley.
I think that we've missed that last season, don't you think? That connection with the fans has been. I can't remember seeing it with Pulis. Even last game of the season, I was there at the home, obviously away at Rotherham, didn't see Pulis come over. Now, we've done it a bit in the early stages, but having someone like Leo back at the club with that connection he has with the fans, do you reckon it'll give Woodgate a bit more time? If it goes wrong, 100%. Hopefully it won't. But
what do you know this season? But before we come on to Leo, I want to say though, giving them a bit more time. This season for us, personally, we can't be looking at top 6 and expecting to be top 6 and, you know, getting on our high horses if we don't make it. This season's going to have to be bedding in. And I think right now we've got the right team in place. Leo coming in is he's got a massive bond with the fans. He'll bring fans back himself just because of his character. Last season, I haven't renewed my season ticket yet, to be honest with you.
I know a lot of people haven't done that, to be honest. I say with that dross last season with Pulis, I think a lot of people like myself waited to see if he was actually going to go, because I point blank refused to go and watch that every week. And I know there's a comment on here, Mark and that we're chatting about football's an entertainment business. I disagree. Football's not an entertainment business. Football's a results business. I've never seen a manager keep his job because he plays entertaining football but gets beat every week.
Yeah, but I'd like to hear off the people listening as well where they stand on that. What do you want? Do you want win football matches, or do you want to be entertained? Because it seems to me.
Well, if you win a football match, you're entertained, are you not?
Are you?
Do you go home happy if you've won a game?
Are you entertained though?
I go home happy.
Yeah, if you go home happy.
The wife's happy. I don't go home with a long face. She's happy. I'm happy.
Well, last season though, we wouldn't if we were winning games under Pulis, but people were still, you know, the football's awful.
It was awful. I mean, I go back to a few games last season, Skel. I don't know your opinion. I'll get it now, but the likes of Aston Villa away, Swansea away, them type of performances where we set up with no intention to win a game of football. Now, call me naive here, but we're Middlesbrough Football Club and we're going away. Now, we're a massive club in the Championship. We always have been. Well, the majority of seasons we've been a massive club in the Championship, and I don't think it's fair or right for any team, especially Middlesbrough, to go on an away game like Aston Villa and Swansea, and there's a few others, but I can't name the top of my head, where we don't create nothing. One shot on target if we're lucky.
Yeah.
You
just while you're there,
it's not acceptable.
Just while you're there, did you know this? Last season, Boro had the 5th most shots on average in the Championship. Did you know that? 13, just under 14 shots a game we had.
How many on target?
Well, that must be shots on target, surely.
I can remember one game.
It can't be not 13 on target, no.
There was one game, the top of my head, that stood out away from home, Blackburn, where we absolutely pummeled them.
Yeah.
We won the game 1-0, we should have won 20-0, but I can only name that game, and probably the home game where Daniela got sent off. I can't remember the top of my head. We got beat 2-1, we win them 1-0. We battered them, we should have been winning. But apart from that, I'm clutching at straws. How many games you look at it and say, how have we lost that game? I know Pulis comes out and says we should have won 6 on the bounce, but for me, the tactics were negative. It was always a set-up approach. Don't get beat, don't concede. We'll play one up front and we'll hold on. And Boro fans aren't going to accept that this season, I don't think. Give us your thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. We need to. I'd like to hear what would people want this season. Be interesting because, like I said, last season everyone wanted it to entertaining, but when we're going forward, which hasn't been for a while, and you're not winning matches, our fans going to be like, well, you can't play expansive football. You know, it's not working. It's, you know, you can't do right for wrong, really. It's just finding a bit of a middle ground. But coming back to Leo, like I say, he's a massive plus. Imagine just around the training ground. Do you know what I mean? Just on the players, like Braithwaite in that situation. You know, Leo, he's full of energy. He's mad as, you know, he's
you wouldn't want to beat him in the dark alley, would you?
No, but he's, do you know, he's mad as a box of frogs, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? So you're gonna, you know yourself, mate. Playing football, the dressing room is massive. You know, it's half the battle. If you've got a good dressing room, you know, everyone's enjoying the football, everyone's smiling, there's a bit of banter. That's the most important thing is the team spirit. And someone like Leo, and even Robbie Keane, do you know what I mean? He's always a positive person. Robbie Keane's captained Ireland and that. Leo is going to add a hell of a lot to the dressing room, where last year, I don't know, it just seemed drubbed, didn't it?
It did seem drubbed. Just a few comments, Skel, on social media.
Just a quick one, Matt. See your comments there? I can't see the comments, mate. Are you getting them up, are you?
I've got them up, mate. I'll read them out, yeah, we'll sort them out. we've got a message from Mark Wheeler. Mark, thanks for being in touch, mate. He says, let's get Braithwaite gone and reinvest in a couple more players. Also play the youngsters and we'll be okay. We're going to come on to Braithwaite later on in the show, Mark. We're going to have a little comment on him. We've got our views. Interested to see what you think. We've got Dave Jackson as well. Thanks for listening. He says, until we see our Boro play with the new regime, it's impossible to tell how it will go. At least Robbie Keane knows where the net is, though, like Woody, a complete rookie. Now, Robbie Keane, good point. I see on his backroom staff. Robbie Keane, as far as I can remember, quote me again if I'm wrong, is the first attacking striking coach we've had at the club since I can remember.
Slaven's been banging about it for years, hasn't he? I'm surprised the club never bought Bernie Slaven in at some point. Do you know what I mean? I can't understand. How can you not have
a striking coach? Yeah.
Like, do you know,
well, you've got a goalkeeper coach and you've got goalkeepers. You have defensive coaches, you've got defenders.
What's the most important position on the pitch?
You want to score. If you don't score, you don't win, do you? Let's be honest.
So I just can't understand why we've never had a striking coach.
Robbie Keane's a massive plus for me. He's played at the top level and he was a top striker.
Oh,
Robbie Keane. And I think a lot of them strikers, Sombalonga, Fletcher, Gestead, they can all, each one of them can learn something from Robbie Keane. And they say the training videos, they look good. I know we were speaking about it earlier. We didn't really see that under Pulis. I don't know if it's a bit of a PR stunt, looking at these passing videos.
I was looking on it today and someone put in, he went, nice one. Just showing every other team how we're going to play and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's great. It's great for the opposition. You're doing a job.
Well, no one knows how he's going to play. I'm interested to see. I say Boro have got the first pre-season friendly on Friday against AK Graz out in Austria. So we'll be interested to see how he sets up. I mean, we've got no idea how Woody's going to set. That's the nice thing, I suppose. We're sat here now. Everyone's going to be looking at that game on Friday and seeing how he sets up. Yeah. I mean, that's not going to say he's going to set up like that for the rest of the season. But having said that, if he comes out and plays I expect him to play a 4-3-1-2 possibly formation. Yeah. I can't see him playing with any wingers. I just don't see him doing that. If he wants to play a pressing game, for me, wingers are redundant. Yeah. Everything happens in the middle of the park, and I can see it being a 4-3-1-2, tight, compact, and chasing the ball down. So I'm interested to see what happens on Friday with AK Graz. Hopefully, we can do it. But on Woodgate as well, Skell, just a quick one. Now, how many managers do you think he's had in his career? How many managers Woodgate had in his career?
Not clubs, we're talking managers.
Just here. All managers, not international. In his
career.
In his playing career, how many managers? I would say
about 9.
9. Nearly 13. 13 managers. Now, I've got them here. Just going to reel them through to you, Skell. Give us your print. Now, bear in mind, we keep hearing this Woodgate's played at the highest level, which he has. We don't deny it. My point is, I'm going to reel these managers off to you. He's played under George Graham, Dave O'Leary and Terry Venables when he was at Leeds. He then moved to Newcastle and played under the watchful eyes of Bobby Robson, God rest his soul. And then before a tough spell at Real Madrid, which to be fair, to Woody, was epitomised with a revolving door of managers. Yeah. And he's had their Mourinho Garcia Remon, never heard of him. Valderini Luxemburgo, never heard of him. Juan Ramon Lopez.
Where's this, Real Madrid?
Real Madrid. This is facts. Google doesn't lie. Juan Ramon Lopez, never heard of him. And then lastly, Fabio Capello, which obviously we know was at England. He then came back to the Boro and he played under Southgate, who obviously went on to get the England manager's job. Then he moved to Tottenham under Harry Redknapp. And then there was spells twice with Pulis, one under Boro and one at Stoke. And then obviously he played under Karanka as well. So, giving them managers, bear in mind Woody's played at the top level, which he has. Yeah. Do you think he's played under the very best of managers, even though he's played at the highest level?
Well, there's some big names there, isn't there?
Big names
well, Bobby Robson's for the start.
Yeah, but Bobby Robson 20 years ago.
Yeah, well...
So, football's evolved a lot in 20 years. I mean, we'll put it to the stream. I mean, get involved. If anyone's got a comment, like we said, comment on the stream, give us a call, 01642 688 987. Woodgate and his managerial career is going to kick off, but for me, looking at their managers, half of them I've never heard of, and I look at it and he's got this style of play he wants to play. I've heard of Harry Redknapp.
Have you seen the managers you've just...
Well, go on then.
Bobby Robson's one of the greatest managers of all time.
Yeah, I've heard of Bobby Robson. Yeah. I've heard of Fabio Capello, obviously Redknapp, Pulis and Karanka. I don't know, and obviously Terry Venables. I don't know who the El Mourinho Garcia Remon is. Valderini Luxemburgo, never heard of him. Juan Ramon Lopez, never heard of him.
Yeah,
He's managed Real Madrid, and I've never heard of him.
Yeah, well, there must be big names in Spain, surely. But
I'm just wondering where he's going to get this style from, his philosophy. Obviously,
well, do you know what?
For me,
I'll
he's
tell you
come
where
out
he's
and
got it
said
from. I'll tell you where he's got it from, because I
book?
listened to his interview.
A book?
No, he hasn't. I'll tell you where he's got it. He's got it off Amazon. Right, I'm telling you, because I was watching a show. It's called
How to Play Tackle Football.
Get the Ball, Pass the Ball. And so I was watching it the day before he got announced. I watched the show. It's a very good show, actually. And then all of a sudden he comes out and he goes, "Get the ball, pass the ball, get the ball." So I turned around and I said to the missus, I said, he was watching that. He's been watching Get the Ball, Pass the Ball, the Barcelona show. It's all about like the Messiah setup and all that. And that's where his philosophy is. He's going to, try and bring in a Guardiola. Has he got the tactical now? So
everyone wants to play Guardiola style football, but there's a difference saying it and doing it, let's be honest.
But do you know, this is the worrying thing, mate, is the players we've got. I don't think Guardiola could come in and make us play pressing, passing football with the players we've got.
I agree.
So Woodgate's got his hands tied. So
just a comment there from Mark Wheeler. Skelly says, after being with Pulis twice, he must realise he needs a new approach.
Yeah.
Agreed. He does need a new approach. My point is, he has to come out and say he wants to play this high pressing football. He can't come out and say anything else, because Boro fans just want to see someone actually. All they want to see is have a go. I don't even think Boro fans care if we lose, but at least we can come back and say at least we've had a go.
Well, that's what we used to get. Remember years ago, mate, when we were kids. We used to go to the Riverside, and under even the Stephen McLaren or the Brian Robson era. No, I'd say more the Steve McLaren era. Remember one season we only lost 2 at home. All season in the Premier League, we'd only lost 2 home games
with McLaren.
Yeah, I think one season was 2, and I think the other season was 3. God, we must have been about 13, 14-year-olds.
You were. I was about 9 or 10.
Yeah. Anyway, and
you're the one who's grey.
Yeah, well, that's when I started coaching kids football. That mate, it's took it out of us. But yeah, coming back, teams used to come to the Riverside. And I always remember we used to get at teams. We wouldn't give them an ounce. So, and I think it's in football in general. If you've got a fit team, a team that can run, which is half the battle, and if you can put teams under pressure, especially in the Championship, because when you're putting good players under pressure, they can cope with it. When you're putting people under pressure in the Championship, they can't. So last season, we were giving teams the opportunity to come on to us, get in the faces, and that's when the quality shows. So moving forward, yeah, if we've got the better 11, technically, and we can start getting at teams' faces, get us higher up the pitch, it can work, but
it's a risk though, I think. But just again, social media, Skel, Courtney has said, do you lads think it's crazy how everything before his appointment was negative, now all the negative comments have pretty much gone since Pulis has left? Would you agree?
Say that again, mate, sorry.
Courtney's basically saying everything before it was negative, but now he's gone. It feels like the negative comments have kind of gone.
What, with Pulis?
Maybe Pulis was the reason behind the negativity.
100%, because it was just drab, wasn't it? The last 4 games of the season, I didn't even go to the games, mate. I give my season ticket to my mate, and he took the little one. I think we lost every game 1-0. It was towards the back end of the season. I couldn't watch it, and that's usually not me at all. I just couldn't.
I didn't go to some games. Like, I'll admit, sometimes I'm finishing work on a Tuesday. We're at home. I think I can't be bothered going tonight,
But looking deeper into it now, I've seen obviously the interviews he's given, you're excited and stuff, but the last couple of days I've been thinking, let's actually look at this situation. Is Woodgate going in there and saying he's going to play a certain style of football with players that he hasn't got? Or has Pulis come in and actually come in and done a decent job with the players he's got? We'll find out this season.
Only time will tell, won't it?
A manager, a good manager, similar to Mourinho at Man United, he's gone in, and you can only work with the tools that you've got. So Pulis must have looked at that, like we said, the back 4 very, very slow. Mm-hmm. Saying that, he got rid of 2 fullbacks who were quick, Christie and Fabio.
Yep.
But if you look at the back 4, it's very, very slow. So you can't play up the pitch. Now that's just common sense. So is Pulis done a good job with the players that he had? It was drab, but are the players only that good? I don't know.
Well, you're good about the defence there. I know Phil and Mark were chatting about it earlier this week on the show about the defenders. You've got Ayala, we've got Dale Fry, both centre-halves. Dale Fry's obviously been playing out of full-back. You've got George Friend, Ryan Shotton, who are obviously both there. And then after that, really, we're struggling for defenders. I know Markin had said that he thinks he sees George Friend and Ryan Shotton as centre-halves. I wouldn't say George Friend's a centre-half.
Well, he was at Wolves, wasn't he?
He can play there, but I wouldn't play. It wouldn't be my ideal place to play him. But Shotton can certainly... I think he's a more orthodox centre-half than he is at right-back.
Is he, or just thinking about it there, come to the formation.
He only plays right back because he can throw a ball. You never see a centre half take a throwing day.
Is he going to play three at the back? Is he going to play three centre halves? Which basically is a five at the back, which Pulis played last season.
Well, that's wing backs, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, is he going to play? Who would you play wing back? I don't know. I think defensively we've got a lot of problems, especially if we're going to play attacking.
I think fullbacks need a massive overhaul if he's going to start playing that game, and we don't know if you've got the money to spend. I mean, didn't you have a think today? Apparently, we've been linked with some £12 million striker. Where they got that from?
Well, I'll get it. Is it Masata?
Some Masata.
From Genk.
Tikka Masala.
The chicken tikka masala. That's him. Right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, he's. No, I've seen it today. Genk. £12 million.
£12 million.
Leicester were linked with him the other day, but all of a sudden it's come out there. It's a couple of hours ago. And it said Boro a fast approach. It said for this Masata, I think it was called. Chicken tikka masala. We'll call him for now. Which sort of what's happening with Hassan Belonga? Because mate, if we've got no money to spend, we can't go out and spend £12 million on a striker. Well,
we've also got £12 million paying by direct debit.
Well,
got a payday loan or something. But just another comment here, Skelly, on social media. Dave Jackson, thanks for commenting, mate. He says Ipswich thought they were doing the right thing by getting rid of Mick McCarthy and bringing in a new manager. Let's hope history does not repeat itself with the Boro. Now,
yeah, David, it's a good point. It's a good point, especially with Ipswich, because I watched that quite closely.
And look where Ipswich are now.
Well, you know what I mean. They were saying negative football, or he was working on a shoestring budget. The thing is, we haven't got rid of Pulis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Pulis. Well,
yeah, yeah. I don't know if he did he even.
He didn't need talent, to be honest.
Did he have an option to stay on or what?
Well, I think we could have extended his contract, but it would have been stupid for him to stay. I reckon the majority of Boro fans did not want Tony Pulis to stay.
The stadium would have been empty.
It was empty anyway.
Yeah.
You know, the stadium was flat. The atmosphere was flat. I mean, you know, we travel long the way, Skel. We go week after week, most weeks, and I think we sold out 2 away games last season. You know, Brentford away and Rotherham away. We didn't even set out Leeds, Sheff Wed. You know, these type of games, Wiggins, your Blackburns, we'd have packed them out twice around.
So David's point there, I get what he's saying, but what I'd say to David is Ipswich was a different situation. They got rid of McCarthy. Do you know what I mean? The club got rid of him. Pulis was going anyway for me. Unless we went up. I think unless we went up, he would have stayed. But I think he was going to give it one season, see what he can do, stabilise the books, and then off you pop.
My son's commented, Skel.
Right.
Harry Proudman, welcome, son. Although you're grounded because you don't spell Robbie R-O-B-B-Y.
I was going to say, have you just found out about him?
Just found out, yeah.
I didn't know you had a son.
Anyway, he says Robbie Keane will do us good. I agree, son. Robbie Keane will do us good. We've needed an attacking striker, coach. You know, it's what we've been crying out for because we need to score goals. So Robbie Keane coming in, you know, it will only do us good. It won't do us any harm, that's for sure. But sort your spelling out.
Well, I was looking at another thing when it comes to scoring goals with the Boro.
Shooting.
Well, like I said, we've had 13, averaging 14 shots a game.
I don't believe that, Skelly. You're chatting rubbish.
13.6 shots on average.
13.6 to be specific.
On average, right.
I think you're chatting crap.
So, how many's on target exactly?
1. I don't think we've had 30. I don't think we had 13 shots all season.
So, but looking at the midfield, is that midfield good enough? All of a sudden, Paddy McNair, last season he was Paddy McNightmare.
Paddy McNightmare.
Right. Now all of a sudden, he's getting all this publicity. You know, everyone's like, oh, McNair, because he scored 1 goal for Ireland. Is he good enough or what? Because I've not seen anything that suggests that he, you know, can be someone that's going to push us on. You
go about them goals there. I've got an interesting stat for you, Skel. Right, last season, all right, here we go, because you know I love my stats. 46 games, obviously played in the league, 49 goals, averaging just over 1 a game. Teams that scored more goals than Boro last season.
There was
practically everyone. The only teams that never,
Rotherham,
Stoke, Bolton, who went down, and Ipswich. That's it. So even Rotherham scored more goals than Boro last season. Rotherham scored 52 goals and they got relegated.
So what's going on there then? If
Well,
we've averaged,
it does, you throw that thing at me about averaging 13 shots. I don't. It doesn't make sense, does it? Because you look at it and we scored 49. We can't shoot for toffee.
Exactly. So striking coach coming in.
Hopefully it'll improve
But
it.
the midfield for me is massive.
Absolutely, I
and
totally
like you say
agree.
about Paddy McNair. Like, I was looking through Housen. 270 league appearances. Obviously, these include substitutions appearances as well. 27 goals in his career.
Who's that?
Johnny Housen. So 270 appearances, some including.
He's not known for your goal scoring.
Exactly.
I say
So
he was one player. I was going to say, when you play a pressing game, Housen can
press. Yeah, he's got the
Housen can
energy.
press.
But
if he wants to play, he can do it. I like Johnny Housen.
no-
I think he should be board captain.
there's
I'll be
no
honest.
goals in our midfield. There's no goals whatsoever in our
Lewis
midfield.
Wing.
Lewis Wing, what? 3 and 28 appearances.
Yeah, but he's just coming through. If he's allowed to shoot, Lewis Wing, I think he'll score goals.
He's not coming through. He's 24 now.
I mean, if he's allowed to come through, like if he can play, I don't think last season under Lewis Wing, we didn't play Lewis Wing as we want Lewis Wing to play. For me, if you're going to play Lewis Wing, he's not the quickest of players. We can all grasp that. He can pass a ball, but he can't half shoot. So for me, if you're going to play Lewis Wing in that number 10 role or just in behind the strikers where he can pick up the scraps, you know, you're looking at a ball coming in the box, a centre half knocks it out. You can imagine Lewis Wing chest bosh like the old Lampard used to do, or the Gerrards. I'm not saying he's in that ill, but you can only imagine if Lewis Wing is allowed to stay up the pitch rather than having to track back all the time. If he gets the ball 15, 20, 25 yards out and he pulls the trigger, as a fan I'm watching it, I'm thinking we've got a chance of scoring.
I would like to hear see what are people's opinions on Lewis Wing, because I get what you're saying, but was Lewis Wing last season for me?
You aren't telling me he's not a good player. Please tell me that.
Do you think he's a top 6 championship player? Really?
I think Lewis Wing was one of the bright sparks of last season.
That's exactly what I was going to come to, mate.
Go on.
Listen to this, right? We had nothing positive last season. The only thing we had positive was Lewis Wing passing the ball forward. That's how bad it was, right? So was he just a bright spark in an absolute dross season? Do you think he's a top 6 championship player?
I like Lewis Wing. I don't know. We've only seen him for a bit, haven't we? Let's be honest. He needs charm, but I like Lewis Wing. So I can't answer that yet.
If you're talking to like an attacking midfield, someone's going to play behind the strikers. You got Aston Villa have gone up there. They had that John McGinn, yeah. So he's in midfield. John McGinn or Lewis Wing. Sounds like a poem, but do you get where I'm coming from?
John McGinn's like proper ugly, so I'd rather have Lewis Wing.
Right. Okay. Didn't realise he swung that way.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I think I've got the pink T-shirt on.
Yeah, but it's a big season for Lewis Wing.
Big, I agree.
He's come through. So you got Lewis Wing, 3 goals in 28 appearances. Adam Clayton. I seen someone said he used to be a forward-thinking player, but purely
smashed it out.
Granka turned him into a. He's never been a forward. He scored 8 goals in his career. Do you know what I mean? So you got, and then you got McNair scored 5 goals in his career. I think them 5 were at Sunderland. And Saville's. I think it's a big season for George Saville as well. What are people's thoughts on George Saville? Give
like
us
you say,
call.
keep the comments coming in to say we're live on the YouTube channel there, or if you're brave enough to give us a call, the number's 01642 688 987. Come on, give us a call, tell us what you think. Now, Skel, we talked about Woodgate early on, obviously. Now I feel he's already made one big decision early doors, and for me to allow Stewie Downing to move on, and to another championship club, Blackburn. Mm-hmm. We can only assume, Woodgate and Stewie have had a chat about his status in the team. If he's going to play, we can only assume Woodgate told him he's only going to be a bit part player. Do you think it's a brave move, considering obviously the apparent lack of funds we've got, and then the experience Stewie would bring? Is it a brave move letting him leave?
To be honest, I think there was something already sorted. I know there was a couple of rumours, is he going to stay with Woodgate taking over? But
I thought he'd end up in a coaching role, I'll be honest.
Yeah, well,
I think he will come back at the club at some capacity.
I think the club have sort of dealt him a bad deal, really, after last season's fiasco. And I think that was his reason why he's gone off to Blackburn. So, towards the end of his contract there, he's given up a year on that contract to play. So, I'm sorry, but no player would surely give up that money. So has he already had something sorted with Blackburn? Has his agent already got on and said, well, actually, tell Stewie to sign a deal with a Boro, and if he does play and you don't have to next season. You know, we don't have to pay him out. We don't have to extend his contract. But Blackburn will say, right, but what we'll do is we'll give you the 1 year contract, which matches what you're going to get off the Boro anyway. I think with the Downing situation, is something just not right. So I think that that deal with Blackburn was already a done deal, to be honest. With he's down with Boateng's there, isn't he?
Yeah, Boateng's a coach, and obviously Tony Mowbray is the manager, obviously knowing well. But just looking over Stewie's stats again, you know, Stato, 38 matches played in the league last season, just the 2 goals, and one of them was the first home game of the season, Sheffield United. Can you remember his second goal? It's live on Sky.
Matty, I can't even remember yesterday.
Ipswich.
Oh,
yeah, Ipswich.
yeah.
One assist last season.
Ran right against Ipswich. Yeah,
Besic and Downing scored. We won 2-0, I think, or 2-1. But yeah, 1 assist all season for Stewie Downing. 38 matches played, 1 assist. That assist, 18th of August 2018, away at Bristol City when he set it up for Sombalonga. So
you're going to pay someone 35 grand a week?
Well, that's, you know, people say, you know, Downing, and I'm again just open it up. It's just I'm only reading the stats, you know.
But people get tetchy over Downing. They
do get tetchy, but he's a local. I don't agree with the crap he gets, Stewie, because he's arguably the best thing to come out of Middlesbrough Football Club. Let's be honest. I mean, over 40 England caps. His transfer fees escalate nearly £50 million. You know, you can't. People saying that he's garbage.
Had a good career, of course.
He has had a good career, but you know, looking at them stats, I mean,
he's not been productive.
He's not been. If you're looking at Stewie Downing, you're saying he's got a left foot in him and he's got a good cross in him. Now, you can either put that 2 ways. He's putting good balls in the box and the strikers aren't getting them, or he ain't putting good balls in the box. I mean, the club will know more than us. We can only read out the stats, and that's what the stats say. You know, since 18th of August 2018.
With Downing, look, to be honest with you, I don't stay on it long because he's gone. He's not here anymore. But
he's gone, but it's a brave move to let him go, considering we've got no money. And I tell you what, looking at the youth players we've got, I mean, I'll ask you this question next, but would you rather a Stewie Downing come on with 20 to go or a Jed Spence? And that's no disrespect to Jed Spence, but
irrelevant. We can't afford to pay him 35 grand a week. So
he ain't getting out of Blackburn, is he?
I don't know. Apparently he's been given a ludicrous offer.
He'd be getting 10 grand and a chicken wing or something.
I'll have to. You would go for the chicken wings, fatty.
Right of it. Starving.
No, just look, get Downing. We shouldn't have kept him. No way. I'd have paid him maybe 10 grand a week.
10 grand?
10 grand a week.
So do you think we've got any youth players to come in and take his place, or do you think we're going to have to dip in the market?
No, they're not going to have the same quality as Stewie Downing. I'd have liked him in midfield, in a central midfield role, but again, money talks. So I'd have kept him on if the price was right. We're not going to bring any youth players with the same quality. There's no doubt about it. Because Stewie Downing in England international, I don't see anyone that's got that quality to come in and, you know, fill his boots. Tavernier, what do you reckon? Bit hit and miss.
I get slated for this sometimes, but I don't rate Tav.
Right.
I don't rate him. I see all these Boro fans who say, "Oh, get Tavernier in there and get the." For me, I know he scored a few goals, but
he's got goals in him, hasn't he?
He's got goals, but he can't. He couldn't cross a tee for me. He can't cross a ball. I don't think he should be playing out wide. I mean, we saw Tav on the youth scene when we played junior football, and every time I saw Tav play, he always played in the middle.
Right.
Always played in the middle.
I want to hear people's thoughts. Is Tav good enough to play for the Boro next season?
I'm not saying he's not good enough. What I'm saying is,
you don't rate him.
I don't. If I'm looking at Stewie Downing's leaving, right, which I think he's a great player, and you're bringing in Marcus Tavernier, am I excited? Not really. Just an opinion. I mean, I hope he comes up and sets a world of light. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I do, because he's a young player, young local lad. But when I watched him last season, when he got the ball, I didn't get excited when he got the ball.
Do you know what? Once I actually agree with you.
There's the first.
He's not for me. But we'll see. Again, experience, game time, you know, you're learning on the job, aren't you? So we'll see what the situation is. But Stephen Walker's the one for me. I really like Stephen Walker. I think he's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but I've met the lad and he seems very grounded. I spoke to him about when he went to MK Dons. He didn't get much game time. He wasn't disheartened about that. He said that once he's been there, he's been down there living there. You know, he's only a young lad, so he's learnt a lot. He said experienced a lot just being down at MK Dons. He's grown up a lot. So that's a youngster coming through who I think, you know, can add something going forward. Maybe a number 10 role. He's very intricate the way he plays. I don't know what's people's thoughts, Stephen Walker, next season.
Well, you mentioned that number 10 role. That's what I was going to ask you, because obviously going on the stats I gave you last season, 49 goals scored. You know, tight budget. We're on a shoestring, as we're led to believe. We don't know if we're on a shoestring.
Just this tight budget thing, right?
How many going off what we're told, aren't we?
Like, off this tight budget, right? There's rumours in the club, which are true, that unfortunately there's going to be voluntary redundancies. Yeah, with staff, which is, you know, it's not good to hear.
But then we go and pay 12 million for the striker.
No, but there's these redundancies coming through, these voluntary. During our pre-season, we've got, I think we play Salford. Then we fly out to Belgium for a game, right? And then we come straight back. So how much is that going to cost to go out there for a week? You know, play out there, then come back, and then we're doing voluntary redundancies. Like, it's just mad, isn't it?
Is it true?
It's true. Trust me, it is true. It's very, very, very true, mate. And it's obviously I can't name the source, but it's definitely true, because the person that's told us, they was saying that, you know, there's definitely voluntary redundancies. So it's not like you're Simon Grayson. You text me. You'd seen a text. You'd seen a text or something. Simon Grayson's coming.
I had it off good authority, Skelly.
Yeah, and that's
Simon Grayson.
That's another 20 quid down the drain.
So on the number 10 role, then, do you think we've got a player who can come in and fit that number 10 role, the attacking role right now?
Martin Braithwaite, obviously.
That's a good. You know I was going to bring him up there, didn't you? So.
But it's the only number 10 we've got, mate.
The one reported player who we've got there, obviously Martin Braithwaite. Now, obviously, before everyone jumps down our throats, you know, I've got to give you some stats on Braithwaite as well for last season. All right, so in La Liga, he joined Legans in January window. He played 19 games for them, 4 goals, 7 assists. Now, that's in La Liga. It's not a crap league, is it? In La Liga.
4 goals, 7 assists.
4 goals, 7 assists in 19 games for whoever he joined Leganes, and they
that
didn't.
Was 19. Well, I had him down as 4 goals, 16 starts, and how many 7 assists? So
7 assists.
It's a good return, that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So.
But in La Liga, where it's nice and sunny, and you know he's loving football, you know, Martin Braithwaite. 1 minute he loves the Palmos, next minute he wants to, you know, he's off. So
we'll come back to Braithwaite, because I'm hoping we can get some comments on Braithwaite on the YouTube, or you can give us a call. We'll leave that there for Braithwaite for now. Just give us a call on 01642 688 987 if you want to give us your opinions on him, or obviously comment on the YouTube page. We're going to come back to him and Braithwaite shortly, because I want to just quickly scale that we're going off Boro. Now, as you know, I play walking football.
Yeah.
I know the Grangetown lads are listening, so welcome, lads. Now, Rob Scott, who runs Grangetown, and he does it with you know, Dougie, and there's a few other lads down there, Joe, work right hard with the walking football team.
Which is great. It's massive at the minute.
It is. Walking football, I'll tell you what, it's kicking right off. It's really it's a really good way of keeping fit, and for the lads who've got injuries and disabilities like myself, playing walking football, it's a massive thing now.
Well, just saying now, where you said disabilities, I remember one time you with your injury and all that.
Yeah.
You were so down in the dumps that you
I know.
couldn't,
I was fed
football.
up. Walking football has put the smile back on my face. Now, Rob Scott sadly and his family lost his granddaughter Farah Rose in February 2016 to a viral infection. Now, since then, a memorial trophy was launched in her name, the Farah Rose Memorial Trophy. We've got on the line Eddie Gibson. We've got on the line Eddie Gibson. Eddie, are you there?
What are you in Middlesbrough?
Hello there, Eddie. Can you hear me, mate?
I can, mate. Yes, sir.
Eddie, thanks for coming on, mate. Now, obviously, we're just chatting about Grangetown walking football. I mean, how did you get involved into walking football?
In walking football, I saw the advert on the telly for a well-known bank, and fortunately I worked at the same place as the football development office at the Leeds City Council, and I went to see upstairs to see him. He said, "Look, seen this advert, what do you know about walking football?" He said, "Well, funnily enough, I'm going down to a particular leisure centre to see what they've got it there. I'm going to see what they're doing. I'm going to start it up in Leeds." That was in 2014.
You've got a cracking team down in Leeds, haven't you? The Leeds Walking football team. I've played against you a few times. Really good physical team.
From there, yeah. We started off in the leisure centre, council leisure centres, and then it just blossomed from there. You know, got some really good players involved, and we've done very well.
You got a few England players with them, have you, Eddie?
We've got one who's in the squad, and one or two are sort of
on the fringe.
On the fringe. That's it. On the fringe, yes.
No, obviously.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Eddie, I just cut you off. Obviously, we're talking about Rob Scott and Farrell. I know we spoke earlier. I don't want to go into the specifics of it. It is a sour subject, which I totally understand. But just tell us a bit of how this Farrell Rose Trophy come about, how it started.
Well, it started in the first year of the competition. We got an invite from Andy Charlesworth to go to Middlesbrough to take part. We thought, well, we love competitions.
Yeah,
we'll join in. And little did we realise we would do so well in it, and it's since become a competition that's very close to my heart, certainly.
Absolutely.
Not just because of the story of Farrell Rose, but also because it was the first tournament we ever won.
Yeah, you did win it in 2016. I said I did have a look at it earlier. So with this Farrell Rose Trophy, let's give people an idea who listen, Eddie, how many teams competing in each year from the Farrell Rose Trophy, and where did it come from? Because a lot of people would expect it's just local teams, but it's actually people travel far and wide for this tournament.
They do, yes, they do. I can't remember how many teams we were in the first year of the competition, but certainly I know we played quite a few northeastern teams. In the second year, we had 13 teams from all over the north of England, really. Then we had Sheffield last year, which attracted one or two Midlands teams.
Yeah.
Then we won the title. We won the trophy again.
2018, didn't you?
That's right. 2018.
That's it. Well, Sheffield United won it in 2017. Obviously, Leeds won it 2016, 2018.
Yeah.
Now
they beat us on our ground, and then we went and beat them on their ground. So
they did.
Revenge was sweet, I tell you.
So obviously Leeds have won it twice. Sheffield United won it the other time in 2018. But this year, Eddie, this is what it's all about for us. Grangestown won it. Now you were there. You seen Rob lift that trophy. I mean, describe the emotion and what I can only imagine was a really big, poignant moment for the Scott family.
It was, and we had Farrell Rose's uncle Steve, that's Rob's son, there to present the trophy as well, so we like to keep it in the family.
Absolutely.
But the absolute joy on the faces of the Grangestown lads was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
it really meant something to them. I mean, this time we had 24 teams taking part, and 14 of the 16 Northern Premier League teams were in it. Some of those had reserve teams, and we had other teams coming from as far as Norwich City, who Grangestown beat in the final.
Yeah, I see. That was what I was going to say. I mean, it shows the length of the teams they'll travel for. Rob's got a really, he's got a big heart, but he's got a big following within walking football that shows it, because everywhere we go with walking football, everyone knows him, and they do get behind him with his Farrell Rose Trophy, and like I say, beating Leeds Norwich in the final, that's a trek and a half for Norwich to come down to Leeds, so beating them in the final.
And even further, we had our friends from Neath in South Wales taking part as well.
Yeah.
So the Neath lads just love to come up to Leeds, and they had a whale of a time, and of course they make a weekend of it. And
absolutely.
All the pubs and clubs in Leeds, it's about,
You're speaking to Skelly, mate. You okay?
All right, mate.
Nice to speak to you. Just a quick one. Obviously, you've been listening to what your thoughts on the walking football and stuff. I've just when it comes to, so you've seen your Leeds, Eddie, yeah?
Yes.
So Leeds have won something over the last couple of seasons, then, yeah.
You want a Boro chat for him? We couldn't let you go without that one, Eddie.
But Eddie, just coming with talking about the walking football, I've seen it about. I'm involved with the footy myself. How many players per team is it on the walking football then?
It can be varied from competition to competition, but generally it's 6 aside.
Right.
And we have in my competitions we have squads of 9, so everybody gets a game, and it opens up to a lot. Yeah.
And one last thing as well, because when I've watched it, I've noticed players seem to be running a bit as well. What's that about?
Yeah.
It's a sour subject in working football, Skelly.
It's a very sore point.
You can walk fast. That's the way I see it.
Let's not go on
That's it. Well, running is defined as not having one foot on the ground at all times, and conversely, walking is having one foot on the ground at all times, and your lead leg is usually straight. Now, it takes a lot, and you need quite a bit of experience to be able to identify that. And the trick is for the referees to actually watch the feet rather than the players' bodies when they're moving. But as the game advances, there's a lot of inexperienced referees who just need the time to be able to
adjust to it. Yeah,
bring it up. Yeah, and the different interpretations of rules is something that we do need to address as well.
Absolutely, Eddie. Totally agree. Listen, Eddie, we've got to leave it there, mate, 'cause we've got another comment on. But I just want to say, Rob's asked me to pass on his regards for what you do for the Farrow Rose Trophy. They really appreciate all the hard work you put in, and hopefully, I know you won't like to read it, but hopefully the Grangetown boys can retain that trophy next year. Hopefully, it's a Grangetown Leeds final. But thanks for the show, Eddie. I really appreciate it there. Thanks very much. That's Eddie Gibson there, the manager of Leeds Titans, and he's obviously the chairman of the Farrow Rose Memorial Trophy down with the Walking Football. Thanks for coming on, Eddie, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it sounds like a good competition. It's
good.
Bigger and bigger. Just coming back to social media.
We've had some comments.
Yeah, just looking here, we've got Phil Bullock's touched on. We've spoken about Tav. Tav will come good, but we need to remember he's literally a kid and needs development. He skinned some players last year and scored a great goal or two, but we can't put too much pressure on him.
I agree, I don't think we're putting pressure on Tav. He's 20-year-old, is he? 19, 20-year-old?
I think because he's been on the outskirts for such a long time, everyone's expecting.
I mean, if you look on the website now, he's classed as he's in the senior squad as a first team player.
And he's got an eye for goal.
He's got an eye for goal. Listen, I'm not slating Tav. I'm saying, I was a big lover of a Dama Traore. My mate Damo, Damo, we used to love a Dama Traore. If I caught him in bed, my wife had made him breakfast.
Yeah.
I loved him. I did, honestly, God, I loved him. And when he got the ball, my ass was off the seat. I was excited.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying Tav's a Dama Traore, but he's in that type of ilk. You're looking at him as an exciting footballer. I don't get excited watching him.
No,
I don't. He needs to do more for me to get my bum off the seat.
Then?
I think he's in the whole type player. He's got quick feet.
Is he going to be looking at him next season through the centre?
I hope so. I don't think he'll play him. I don't think he'll play him out wide.
We've got David Jackson here. Sheffield United got promoted on a shoestring. It's all about coaching at this level. When Braithwaite could be bothered last August, it was when Boro played well, which I agree with.
Yeah.
The only time we actually played well was when they had Hassan Blonga and Braithwaite up front. First 5-6 games of the season, we had a bit of enjoyment.
I agree.
And I thought it was going to be positive.
On Braithwaite, I say we had that little chat with him earlier. You've got to imagine Martin Braithwaite. Yeah, let's just go on him because I want him to stay. By the way, I'm annoyed at Martin Braithwaite. Don't get me wrong. If he turned up, I wouldn't want to speak to him, but I'd want to forgive him, and I think he can make me forgive him by actually pulling up his socks and putting in a performance. But let's put ourselves in the shoes of Martin Braithwaite just for the minute. He sold a project when he signed for Boro, under Gary Monk. Now, Gary Monk played him and he was playing well. We all agree he was playing well under Gary Monk. He played nice attacking football and he looked good. He looked
nice
probably the best player.
Gary Monk.
He played well.
I think it was a bit crabbish.
I think Braithwaite was playing his best football under him. Pulis comes and then totally zaps it out of him. I don't know what.
Well, Braithwaite's come out and said, as soon as Pulis took over, he said, "What is this guy playing at? What is he doing? What's his type of football?" And that was his excuse. Now, whether he's telling the truth or what, but I agree with him, and I can understand why.
Let's hope Woodgate and get the best out of Martin Braithwaite. We've got Mark on the show now. Mark, welcome to the show. You want to talk a bit of Woody?
Hiya lads, alright?
How you doing, mate?
Sure.
You alright, mate?
Yeah. I've got a question. You've got the poll on the video about Woody and Co.
Yeah.
My question to you fellas is this. I wasn't a Woodgate fan to start with, and I was very vocal about it.
Yeah.
However, I've sort of like owned in on it that hopefully it's going to be, a transition season. But what happens if he loses 10 games on the bounce, fellas?
Well, that's what I was going to come to this point later on, Mark. You've got it right out of me, right? I said with Leo Perkovic, imagine it was Leo. Now, let's put Leo in the mould of Jonathan Woodgate, the chest baiting, roaring stuff. If he loses 10, if Leo Perkovic was manager, lost 10 games on the spin, would you give him some time as a fan?
No.
With Leo? I would. What I'm saying is, if Woody wants that time, Mark, to answer your question for me, he's got to get the fans on side, and the way to get the fans on side for me is actually integrating with the fans and show a bit of passion. I think if he shows a bit of passion, he'll get a bit of time. Yeah. I don't think this. I'm a Teesside, I'm a Red cutting any mustard. Yeah. He won't cut him any mustard. He has to integrate with the fans. Get with the fans.
What I think, Mark, is 10 games. Any manager needs to be sacked, mate. After 10 games, I don't care who they are. They've got to go off 10 games. The thing is, like you say, I get your point. Maybe how are the fans going to react if we lose 4 on a trot or 5 on the trot? Maybe a bit more realistic. Are the fans going to turn? I think next season, I'm willing to say I would give Woodgate time, even if we're lingering around mid-table, to implement his style of football, how he wants to play on the club. Because, as me and Matty mentioned earlier on in the show, we haven't got the players to play the style of football he wants to play for me. If he pulls it off, fair play to him. But like I said, I don't think Guardiola could, play the type of football he wants to play with these players, mate. So I think next season we're top 10 finish. I think we're going to have times where we are going to be poor. We're going to lose a few games on the trot because I don't think the squad's great. We just got to stick by him. And as long as I can see progress in how he wants to play next season, I'm happy with that. I always believe that the club needs a philosophy. If you look back at Swansea City when they went up, you look at Bournemouth, these teams have gone up. They didn't bring managers in to change the style of football. They brought managers in that suited the club. So if we're going to go forward now and start, implementing this type of football, make managers come into the club, that are going to fit in. So let's see what Woodgate can do next season. Let's not lose our heads if we lose 3 or 4 matches. Support him, and if we can see progress, that's good news for me. Like next year. What do you think, Mark? Do you think he's going to get the time?
Well, he's not. Our chairman's not a cutthroat chairman. Is he? Stood by people in the past.
I think he can cut you when he wants to, though. Gibson.
Oh yeah. Well, look. Obviously, Gary Monk upset him in some way. He cut him, but. Overall, fellas, people always give the first chance of coaching. He
gives them a chance. I agree. Yeah.
I just think that it's great. There's no sentiment in business, and we've had it. The likes of Mowbray being manager, and I was at that terrible game when young fans were shouting horrible things to who is my club hero. It was sort of like a thankless task for him. And I hope that doesn't happen again. Look, like I said right off the start, fellas, I wasn't a Woodgate fan. I wanted somebody with a bit more...
Most weren't Woodgate fans with a Mark, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that the time it took to appoint him, I think it softened us all up a little bit. And obviously with the backroom staff you've been talking about, it's an exciting, enthusiastic backroom staff in it. So hopefully, they're going to have enough to bubble along.
Yeah. Why I've got you, Mark, I'll put you on the spot then. Obviously, me and Skelly have had our predictions for this season. We'll have it within the Red Army crew. Where are you going for next season? I know, obviously, transfers haven't gone through and it's difficult, but let's look at it realistically. What's an acceptable finish for you for next season? And acceptable, I mean, you'll accept it where you're not going to think it has to change.
Acceptable for me, if I'm going to be honest about it, with no signings in. Exciting football, a totally fresh change of football. That might not answer your question, mate, because that exciting football at the Riverside and home and away might not get us into the playoffs.
Yeah.
However, what it will do is change our mentality as a fan, because we've watched some dire football over the last 8-10 years.
Mark, sorry to cut you off there, mate. Mark, as you saw by the sound of things, and we touched this at the beginning of the show, so next year it's not so much about the finish for you, it's more about the entertainment, and if we can start playing the right type of football. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, mate. I think the thing what grabbed me from it when I heard Woodgate's first press conference was it was like an ethos change. It was like a total overhaul of what he wants to do at the club. You know, he's talking about young players again, and he's talking about winning games by scoring goals. So for me, we've bleated on for 2, 3, 4 seasons now as fans about negative football. If we bring exciting football, it doesn't necessarily bring the right results, and there's many teams in the Championship do that, play exciting football, but they get beat 3-2 at home because they've had a go.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, because we're building, but I'd like the club to come out and say that a bit more and clarify that a bit more. But as far as I'm concerned, I'd love the playoffs. I'd love us to go straight up and do a Norwich, Sheffield United, whatever. But realistically, I'm thinking if he can change the style of football, it's a step in the right direction.
Happy days. Well, thanks for coming on there, Mark. Appreciate your comments, mate. No doubt we'll have many chats during the season. Good luck, Mark. Cheers, mate. Mark Ufano there, another Red Army regular. Obviously, you producer with the show. Thanks for your comments. So, just quickly on Martin Braithwaite again before we just jump away, Skel, because we've been ranting for an hour now.
Is that gone
quick, and it's gone quick, yeah. So, I don't know if did we have a poll, producer Phil, on Martin Braithwaite? Or was it Woodgate? How was it looking?
Yeah, so we just while he's having a look at the poll there, we've got Philip Morell messaging about Woodgate. I'm assuming he's a Boro lad, so he's putting a lot on the line himself. A lot of pressure he has taken on board. Hopefully he goes for it, takes risks, and not just sits back and tiff-tats about. So yeah, good point. We all want him to go for it next season, but it's got to be realistic, hasn't it? And I just think that, like I say, I don't want to bring a dampener on things because people are starting to get a bit excited about next season. But look, what I would say is don't get your expectations too high. That's what I would say. Because with the squad we've got, I'll say it again, right now, I don't think we're top 6 team. I think we're a top 10 team with the squad we've got.
I want having top 10, but just in that.
But the reason I'm saying top 10 is because if we pick up a few injuries, Matty, we're done.
Top 10's 1 to 9, though, innit? So it's confident. You can't just want it. It's an easy suggestion to say a top 10, 1 to 9. I think top 6 because that pins it down, and I think we should expect in top 6.
Do you think with the club with the players we've got now,
well,
with the squad,
practically we got the same squad that we had last season. We finished 7th. Who's left?
Well, you've got Mikel's gone. I know he's only there for a bit of the back end of the season. More Besic
didn't do nout.
Stewie, yeah, but you're saying the same players here. You got Stewie Downing. Yeah, he's gone. If you look through at the back, we've got this same at the back, same defence.
Same defence at the back, but I don't think we worry about the defence. We're not strong enough at the back.
I just think that looking at the squad, it's shallow and
a lot on the poll scale. Woody, yes or no? Where do you think it falls? Percentage?
Is it yes or no for a manager?
Yeah.
Well, I did a poll myself, mate. It'll be right up there as a
yes. Well, 75% of the listeners agree with Woodgate, 25% no. We also ran a poll on Tav. Obviously, we spoke a lot about Tav earlier. Is he good enough to play in the first team? I know you asked it, didn't you? 89% yes on Marcus Tavernier to be good enough to play in the first team. Now, I agree, he can play in the first team. I'll keep saying this, but he just...
But is he a first team starter?
I don't know.
I'm disagreeing with that. With
I'm
what percentage?
89% say yes.
How many people?
There must have been 3 people or something, because that's quite high. I'll leave the judgment out there, mate. We'll see how he goes with the rest of the season. Now, we're going to call it a wrap there, Skel. Obviously, thanks for coming in, having a chat with us today.
Yeah, great stuff. I'm looking forward to it, mate. Just obviously today was a tester. I'm looking forward to it. It goes live the 20th of July, is it?
27th, I think, Phil. 26. We're going to be trying to go along the airwaves. Obviously, me and Skelly come in today just to have a run, see how it goes on the Red Army platform. So it's just a snippet, really. If you think what we can do, if you agree, if you disagree, or if you'd like to come in, have a chat with us, put us on our place, just get in touch with the page.
Just want to say as well, obviously with it being the show, obviously we've had a chat about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you've got any ideas what you'd like to put on the show, messages, drop us a message. Put it in the comments. What would you like to see here on the show? Me and Matty can bring it in. We're going to have a quiz, aren't we, next season? We're going to get a lad in who's going to got his quiz company, so he's going to come in, do some quizzes, and I think we're going to have a forfeit at the end of the season. Going to somewhere a lead shirt at the Boro game, is it? Put your gum shield in, but
Yeah, but I say we have got a Facebook page as well. It's You're Joking, aren't you? Spelt as Phil Stamp would say it. We're looking to change it at the minute. We haven't really got a name for the show, so again, if anyone's got any ideas of what we can call a show, it'll be handy. Give us some feedback. It'll be great. But thanks, listeners, guys. Well done.